So we had Chris Peterson of Washington on the show, and he's like, I had Ryan Leaf in to talk to the kids. And obviously, I know what your message is, and some fans who don't, they're about to hear it. My first thought was, what? Like Washington State's Ryan Leaf here in Washington? And he said it was great. He said it was awesome having you there.
It was difficult, I'll be honest with you, to be there. But I think that, the message is so much more important than any rivalry because, sure. And it was emotional. For whatever reason, there's been something that I've added to the speech about, seeing the starting quarterback for my alma mater take his life. And I expressed to them in that moment that if you need to use somebody, if you need to ask for help, you can use me. And that crosses every line you can imagine when it comes to rivalry and everything like that. So it's been really impactful for me. Nick Saban was the first coach to reach out last year. And I think that tells you a lot coming from the 5-time national champion.
Did you know he was calling? Or did your phone just go off? Hey, Ryan.
Well, he had it. He had his his operations guy Ellis call me. Mm-hmm. He had seen the ESPN documentary that Tom Rinaldi had done.
Yes.
And sure enough, he had me out. First one to have me out. And then as soon as that happens, all of a sudden his coaching tree, of course, and Kirby Smart and Jimbo Fisher and everybody who's coached under him goes, oh, this is what Nick's doing? Okay. So then my phone starts to ring more. And then this year, I traveled around and hit up about eight football teams this fall.
So is that how Lane Kiffin wound up on your itinerary?
I believe so.
From Saban?
I believe so. I think they all stemmed to come from that. I also think Ryan Holiday, who wrote the book Ego is the Enemy, helped I guess grease those skids a little bit too. And
so again, what is your message that you're telling these 18, 19, 20-year-olds?
It's just pretty much my story. I don't necessarily go in there and tell them what to do or what not to do, but I think a lot of people assume it's about how not to do something or about my substance abuse problems, but it's about choice, and it's about entitlement. It's about understanding that there are different things that make success, and it's not money, power, and prestige. It's about accountability and choices, and that's essentially what it is. And hopefully there's an impact. I can't control what they do with the message. I find that there are plenty of great messengers out there right now. I followed in a couple of the venues. I followed Rachel Barbeau, who has started this program called Changing the Narrative, and Brenda Tracy, who's been working the program Set the Expectation. Mm-hmm. Really impressive young women, and are doing a tremendous job. And I just kind of come in from the other side of things. They come in from the victim side of things. I come in from the side of essentially the entitled athlete, and how and I tell those guys, I look them right in the face and I say, you're sitting exactly where I was, and I got to accomplish everything you want to accomplish, and I still lost it all because of my lack of ability to deal with life on life's terms. And that's usually how the story starts. Coaches have been really, really welcoming. I'm going to do some extra work with Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher and that staff this season. I'm actually going to go with them to the Alabama game.
Jeez.
So, this is great for me because football is such an important part of my life. It gave me everything. Mm-hmm. It was a toxic thing for me for a long time, and I wanted to push it as far away from my life, but it's also given me so much. And for me to be back involved, I do feel like it's just the way things were meant to be, to come full circle in some way, shape, or form.
Well, it's you realizing what needs to be done to make sure that this circle could actually be made full. Which games are you calling for the Pac-12 network?
I'm doing a couple Washington State games.
Okay.
They're non-conference. More importantly, the first game is against San Jose State, which will be the first home game in Pullman since the passing of Tyler Hilinski. And most likely they're going to do something to remember him by on that first play. And what an honor is it going to be on the call for that moment.
What do you think? Can you reveal what they might do there?
I assume it will be something similar, and what's been talked about is possibly doing the missing man formation.
Sort of like for Sean Taylor?
Yes.
What the Redskins did?
Yeah, or what Nebraska did for their punter.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so. I think that that would be a representative of what they felt for Tyler, and I think it's going to be emotional for me to.
You're getting emotional here.
Yeah, it's going to be emotional for me to be on the call. And that's where the emotion switched when I was speaking to Washington, where it kind of turned from the fact that I was speaking to, those mangy dogs in purple, it was about that. Even though they did that, even though they wore the W, even though they wear the purple, I don't want anybody anywhere ever to feel like they're not worth it at any point, because this human existence is so important. It's so precious. And now that I have a child and just the things I've been through and the understanding of what's important in life, we got to change the stigma so that nothing like that ever happens again.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.